Rachel Douglas and I'm a digital print consultant here at AVA. I'm going to show you how we can use the data we got from Metis and put it into AVA to create 3D simulations of our design. So I have the document here, and you'll notice, as Duncan said, I have imported the height map, the glossy contents and the image, so AVA opens all of that data in one go. So I think this design really lends itself to being made into a plank layout, so that's what I'm going to do. And you'll notice here that I have some saved selections within the document, so a bit of preparation has been done. So I'm just going to drag a selection in, and this marks out the area that I want to create my first plank from. So I've got my selection, but now I need a new document to put it into. So I'm going to click this button here, and it's going to create for me a document which is in repeats. This blue frame here indicates the first repeat of this document. And I do actually have a grid on here just to help me with the placement, okay? I'm not going to work with it visible. I am going to turn it off, but it will still be active just to help me with a little bit of placement there. So come back into the original scan. I'll copy that and I will paste it into here. And then I'll just change my tool. So I'll just indicate that I can move this straight over that repeat join, and you can see it changing down here too. Okay, so I'll just play around with it, position it nicely. So I'm just going to repeat that for the next 3 planks. I'm going to put this one down here, and again put it right over that repeat join, all the while seeing it down here too. And I'm taking all of the data with me, so you'll notice that all of 3 layers. Now you may need to move our faces down either to the bottom of your screen or to the left to be able to see my layers palette here. I think the default for Zoom is to put us on the right, so if you just move us over, you'll see my layers palette here. So I'm copying all of the data in one go. I'm just pasting it all in so you can see all of these layers coming in here. Okay, slide that one across there, and again I want to just move that one over there, and I'll just take the last one in. Paste that in. Pop this down here, and I can flip these, and I can, flip horizontal, flip vertical. I think I'm flipping the whole design there. Didn't mean to do that. Oh no, there we go. Okay, so we can flip them, move them, and then I can see if I open my repeat inspector down here. I'm in a 2x2 repeat at the moment, but I can increase that to as many repeats as I like, so that I can zoom out and I can really get a feel for how this document is starting to look, and I can continue to move these items around as it's in repeat. Oops. Okay, so jumping forward, because there's timing that we have to stick to. Jumping forward, I'm just going to open up the final product, if you like. So all I've done here is I've tidied up the layers palette and I've added a bit of ground to make it look really nice. But now what I want to do is I want to visualize what this is going to look like as a product, as a 3D tangible sample. So just slide that across there, like so, and I'm going to open up my structure simulation window. So this initially gives me an indication of what it's going to look like. Okay, just zoom in there, and you can see that I've got my height map there. I can change the lighting. Okay, change the angle, change the zoom. But I can also view this using different profiles, so to speak. So if I click down here, you can see how we can add more information to this product. So we can change the gloss intensity, the material roughness, and if we have an engraving curve, we can also put it in there so that we can get a true indication as to what this product's actually going to look like in production. So I have two saved versions over here. I've got a chemical emboss, so I can apply that, and I've saved it with a preset angle, if you like. And then I've got a laser one. So again, you can see the curves change here, the gloss intensity changes a little bit, but I can still spin that around and I can change the microns down here to reflect the amount that it's going to be engraved at, so that's 300. Now, most importantly, I can view this structure without the image on top, and that means I can get a real good look at it and start to see if there's any problems that are going to appear in production. Now, the first thing I'd like to do is I want to remove the gloss and the height map from the ground. So I'm going to pop back over into my 2D view, and I'm going to make a snap selection to the ground. And then I'm going to just activate my height map and gloss, and I'm going to take that away, and we'll see the grout appear in our 3D view like so. I'm then going to work into this a little bit more, so I'll view the depth. Obviously the gloss is there too, but I'm really working on the depth, looking at the depth, and I'm going to start finding some faults that need correcting. So I'm going to use this tool up here called the fault finder, and what this does is it enables me, you'll notice that I've got a relative cursor, one in the 2D and one in the 3D window. So as I move my cursor around, I can click down and that will put a small red circle on the 2D where I want to correct that. So I know where to come into later, if you like. So I can just go around and mark the areas that I'm not too happy with. And then I can come into the 2D and I can start zooming in on the areas that I want to fix. So that will zoom right in to the 3D window, and I can move this around. So I find this a little bit rough, and then around the edge it's a little bit too smooth, so I want to just even it all out a bit. So I'm going to start by taking a selection of the height map gloss layer, and I'll just make a little selection here, and I'm going to drag that up to cover over this area here. Now you'll notice that I've forgotten to actually copy the data, okay? So even though it's replaced the data here, you'll see this big hole here. So the real-time editing is very obvious there. So this time I'll undo that and be a little bit more careful. And I'm going to zoom in to here, and I'm going to copy and paste it this time and put it right over there. So I'm just going to turn this layer off because I know I've managed to find the area that I want to fix, and then I can flip the data around, get it to sit nicely. I can rotate it, and to blend this copied area into the original a bit better, I'm then going to use a carbon copy. So I'll go over to my pre-prepared carbon copy tool, and I'm just going to start copying some information in here. And you'll notice that as I do this, the information in the 3D structure also changes. Okay, I can also dodge and burn the information. So I can lighten some areas. So in AVA, the whitest area is the lowest point on that height map, and the darkest areas are the highest on the height map. Okay, so I can come in here and I can dodge and burn this. So what I'm going to end up with is actually a very contrasted area in my 3D view here, and you can see that as I move around like so. Now, jump forward, I've corrected all my areas, and so I want to go back to viewing the design as a whole. Okay, so again, we can just take a look at this structure here, and we can put the image on like so and just get a feel for that corrected information. Now that I've got the design in repeat and I'm happy with how the height map and the gloss are looking, what I then want to do is I want to further develop the design by separating it. Now I'm going to separate this using an automated separation tool, just because we're against time, although we do have these tools that separate quickly, and they separate for digital, just so that I can get an idea of what this design is going to look like with some colorways in. We do offer an array of separation methods which can help you prepare your designs for engraving too. So I'm just going to use this button up here, and this is going to very quickly separate this wood grain for me. So you'll see in the layers palette here, it's creating 3 layers, doing the separation. It's just going to flip the layer order there for me too. And then I can continue to edit this if I like. So I just want to gamma the information just a little bit, just to make it look a little bit better there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to load in some colorways. So colorway, load colorways. And these are colorways that I've pre-prepared, okay? So I'm going to load those in. So we'll see up here that we've got another 5 colorways. So what's really nice about this is I can now go back into my structure simulation window, and I can view what this product's going to look like with these colorways in. So I can start to flip through those. Just go back to my default view. Okay, and then I want to try one more thing with this. I've got an in register emboss here. I just want to see what it's going to look like now with an all over emboss. So I'm just going to load in a layer. So that's going to put that in there. Oops, excuse me, just clear that. And then I'm just going to activate that. And you can see, let me just make this full screen. We can zoom out a little bit, and you can start to see what that would look like with an all over. And again, we can change the microns, change the lighting, and of course we could edit this structure too. Okay, so now that I'm really happy with the development of this file, I want to lay it out and present my ideas. So I'm going to go back into this window, and I'm going to open out a presentation page. Turn that off for now. So I'm going to open up a presentation page. I'm going to load in a template that I use regularly. Now I'll just have to turn off these layers, let it load in. So it's just loading in some embedded files. So I'll just click on here.
I really like the text you use, Rachel. And just for the audience, so you can use the Metascanner to scan in a variety of different structures and textures and have those in your structure texture library and experiment with different embosses to accompany the main design. Because the height map is actually a grayscale, either 18-bit or 16-bit, you can also create your own structures, and as a designer you can experiment with those in the CAD system. And the next step of the presentation will be the Roland, where you can proof it out and potentially sell product based on a digital sample. Over to you, Rach. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, so I've got my presentation here now. So I've got down here, I've got the idea for my repeat. I've got some ideas for colorways down here, and I've obviously got the design in its 3D state, if you like. So the only thing now that I'm really missing is a tangible product. So this is where I print it onto a roll-in printer. But I just need to prepare that file to be printed. So what I need to do is I need to send it through our splitter technology. Now if I just open that up for you. This is the technology that we use to pass the information through, determining how many layers to split that height map into, okay? How many layers of white will be printed, and Stefan's going to explain why we print white in a bit. So we process it through this application here, through our digital print rip, and then we end up with this type of information here, which we then send on to the roll-in printer.